Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Hive Mind StarCraft 2 tournament. My name is Evolution Gaming Woodhouse, and I am bringing you the second semifinal from the winners bracket, which is week number 3 of the Hive Mind StarCraft 2 tournament. And this matchup is between Scipio and Headshot. But let me just back up just a little bit. If you didn't go watch the first semifinal between Jelly and Freaks, I would definitely go ahead and do it. Both players showing very, very strong play throughout the entire series. It was definitely nothing to hang your head about on either end. If you haven't watched it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go watch it and see who comes out on top. But without really any further ado, here is the first map of match number 2 between, spawning up in our top right corner, our purple Terran player Headshot, and our other semi-finalist spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, who has basically brute forced his way through this tournament so far, winning everything fairly easily. We have our yellow Protoss player Scipio. Again, like I said, if you haven't watched the first 2 matches of this series, I would definitely go ahead and go do that. They are 2 very, very great matches. I would definitely suggest going and watching them. See both players just continuing to do the fun standard stuff at this point. I haven't seen any legendary BM in these games like I did last week. I'm kind of disappointed. Although last week I did end up screwing it up and I deleted most of it. I think I in fact deleted all of it, but there was some pretty legendary BM at that point. Really not that much going on at this point. The first barracks is down now for Headshot. The first gateway just now coming down for Scipio. First gas geyser is already down. Usually that timing is just a little bit reversed on the other side so that you get your gateway before your gas, and then that way you can lead right into a very, very standard warp gate timing. But as we've seen from Scipio throughout the entire tournament, I think standard is not his middle name. We have seen some pretty crazy builds that actually end up working out fairly well for him. We're going to have to see if today is another one of those days, or if he does in fact decide to go ahead and play this game out, you know, in terms of standard. I mean, you can define standard however you want. It's about like defining normal as a word. You know, there is really no definition for what standard is in this day and age of StarCraft. I mean, there are builds that people use and are considered to be quote-unquote standard, but, you know, try defining it for me. We do see the Cybernetics core now going down for him as well. We do see the gas guys are going down for Headshot. Orbital command just finishing up. That probe did end up getting pretty well crushed over here. That poor drone. First Zealot on its way out for Scipio right now. We do see he's on double gas, so maybe he has something in mind, something very, very tech heavy, because that's usually what an early second geyser indicates to anybody who scouts it. But like I said, standard is not Scipio's middle name. Back up here, the second barracks is going down now. A second geyser as well. So actually both of these players probably have something very, very specific in mind. As we've seen in the past, Headshot going for a lot of drop play, liking drops over, you know, frontal engagements, which isn't always a bad thing. We do see a robo coming out for Scipio right now, so possibly maybe a 2-gate or 3-gate robo. We're going to have to see. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see what path he decides to take in this game. We do see a tech lab coming down now for a Headshot and a factory. So at this point, everything looking pretty standard with the exception of the 2 early gas geysers for both players. We do see the first Zealot from Scipio going to go over here and go ahead and start working away, trying to do some damage, just poking around, see if there's an expansion there or not. And it does look like Scipio, again, sticking to his non-standard ways, getting a 1-gate Colossus rush. I'm going to assume that's what it is. But we all know what assuming means. But that's besides the point. We do see still no expansion for Headshot here. Headshot content at this point, just a 1 base. He is getting stim, not producing anything out of either of these barracks yet, getting a tech lab on that factory. So again, pretty standard in terms of that. We do see another Marauder coming out as well as another Marine. I would like to see a reactor on there so we can build a couple of Marines at a time. Going to go ahead and do some shield damage on those Zealots. Scipio correctly getting them out before they do any life damage. We do see the Observer coming out now. And the Robotics Support Bay is now done for Scipio. We're going to have to see how this plays out. He is going for a double Robo Bay. Getting Colossi range upgrade now. So yeah, it is going to be, again, another kind of crazy play from Scipio. I'm not entirely sure, as I said last week, that I like this style of play, but it works for him, and at this point in this game, that's the important part, is that it works for you. We do see, though, the drawback to going double robo on 1 base. You can't produce out of this one. It's actually kind of a strain on your economy, because robotics facilities usually have fairly high-tech units out of them. We still have not seen Warp Gate research get done for Scipio, so it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do, if he decides to go for some mass Colossi play or what exactly he has in mind. First medevac on its way as well, and an expansion command center coming out now for Headshot. Supply right now 48 to 45. Both of these players not climbing the supply tree very quickly. Let's just put it that way. First Colossi is about to pop out now. Warp Gate research just now started at the 8-minute mark. The very standard 8-minute Warp Gate timing by Scipio. We have seen some very, very interesting builds out of Scipio, but occasionally, like, they are brilliant. I will say that. He does have enough money now to apparently go ahead and start another Colossi. He looked like he wanted to expand, and he just now did. Canceling both of those Colossi, realizing he didn't have the money for them at this point, or the supply cap room at this point. These two Colossi actually pretty vulnerable just on their own. That's why you need like a heavy, heavy gateway style of army. And, oh, we see another command center, or another Nexus going down. So double Robo Colossi into Nexus. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. This is one time when actually I think, oh, and the army of Headshot getting completely taken out by those two Colossi. So actually, again, this is another crazy style of play that looks like it is going to work for Scipio. I'm actually very, very surprised that this did work, but I guess when you get two Colossi out by the 8-minute mark, it's kind of lights out for your opponent, as she says. One Marine going to go ahead and try and pound away on all of that. Not going to do much of the damage. Pulling the SCVs, he's trying to get this around. Is he going to get this around? No, he's not. He's just killing off all of the SCVs. I'm almost going to say let's expect a GG at any point now, because Scipio, with the two Colossi at the 8-minute mark, there it is, there's the GG. But as we did see, Scipio with the two Colossi at the 8-minute mark with range, completely obliterating Headshot. And like I said earlier, that is one of those moments where you look at that build, you're like, this is never going to work ever. The two Colossi pop out. Headshot has, you know, not so much of an army. You know, the supply didn't really climb that fast. And he just gets completely obliterated by it. This is one map, though, pointing back to the mini-map, that I will say I'm happy Headshot took the hidden expansion. He did have the threat up front. Didn't really want to deal with it. Decided to go otherwise. So with that, guys, that brings us to a 1-0 deficit. We're going to have to see if Headshot can bring out the pain in game number 2 and take out Scipio and send him down to the loser's bracket. So we'll come in right back with match number 2 of this semifinal right after this.